Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, September the 27th, race number 3 at Belmont Park. We're going a 1-turn mile and a 16th. It's an entry-level allowance race, and it's a race that you can bet with a new DRFBets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, deposit $50, bet with $200. It's a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for race number 3. It's a short field, but it's a pretty decent bunch of 3 and up going at the 1-turn mile and a 16th. $77,000 is the purse. You can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order with the morning line favorite and the likely speed of the race, the number 1 Mr. Buff, who just destroyed a field of New York breds when running through his state bred conditions last time out at the Spa.
Certainly did. Opened up 1 by 9 lengths. You see that he posted a 96 Beyer, a 121 time form US rating. That's not including the pace situation. Now, that was going 2 turns, and we'll find out how he handles the turn back to a 1-turn configuration. But I've got to be honest with you, the 6th place finisher of that race was the next out winner with an 83 Beyer. And I hate to just make it as simple as this. It's not as though Mr. Buff is a prolific winner. You see that he has a penchant for running 2nd and 3rd, but pace makes the race, man, and I just think they're going to have a hard time running him down.
Mr. Buff is capable around the 1-turn mile because he ran a 106 Beyer speed figure behind the streaking Backyard Heaven back in March at Aqueduct going a mile. Now, the problem that I have with Mr. Buff is he was very, very good last time out. He's tried this non-winners of 1 open condition 6 times. Yes, he's faced some tough allowance horses, but he's found ways to lose each and every time. Time Form US, though, is going to give him perhaps his best chance of winning this kind of race. In the form he's in, with this kind of pace scenario, in a race that favors horses on or near the early lead, Mr. Buff might be impossible to catch.
Yeah, and you know what, really, again, it feels very similar to that race that we talked about, the Wednesday race of the day, where if you believe that pace makes the race and a horse is going to get out there and just be allowed to dictate things on the front end with the form that they're in, they're going to be tough to run down.
The number 2 is Plainsman, a 3-year-old. He's pretty lightly raced, but he's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life. So you can argue it's a little bit of a hidden class hike. This is a horse that last time out made his first start for Brad Cox, and we expected this horse to improve considering Cox's gaudy record all year long. He's winning at close to 30% everywhere. I thought Plainsman ran great in that 1 1/8 race at Saratoga. He must have swung into the 8 path, turning into the stretch, and he was the only part of the race running at the end behind 2 horses that were up close. I kind of like him turning back to a 1 1/16, but this pace scenario is tough. It's up to Joel Rosario to get him into the race sooner.
Yeah, that was kind of my only concern with a horse like this. It's not so much that I don't think he stacks up or he fits with these. It's just how far back is he going to be early on? And look, anything with Brad Cox right now, you've got to take that horse seriously. But at the same time, if his real running style is preferably to come from farther off of it, and you have a horse like Mr. Buff who may have a giant tactical advantage, I don't know. I mean, I do wonder, is there a scenario where you're looking at nothing more than a minor award for him, where with a fair setup, perhaps he's the kind of horse that could win a race like this.
Number 3 is Storm Prophet, going out for Linda Rice and Javier Castellano. Finished behind Mr. Buff in his most recent start. That was way back on April the 14th, and maybe this horse just needed a little bit of a break. I look at the overall past performances, however, and I see a horse that just loves to nibble. 8 seconds from 20 lifetime starts. Linda Rice is a very, very good trainer. Storm Prophet, to me, is a minor award candidate.
100%. You brought up the 8 runner-up finishes. He's also run 3rd on 2 different occasions. So you're looking at a 3 for 20 overall record, but 10 times 2nd or 3rd. And also from a tactical standpoint, I suppose he can be relatively close to the pace, but he is more of a 2 or 3 length off the front end kind of horse, I think. And to me, again, with that sort of running style, I think he's best used underneath. It's also worth noting he takes money in each and every one of his starts. And again, with what sort of edge does he have? I don't want him at 2 or 3 or 4 to 1.
We are expecting wet weather during the early part of the week at Belmont, and the 4 Transistor's most recent victory came over this course and distance over a muddy track back on June the 21st. Now, Rudy Rodriguez really hiked this horse in class last time out into the Grade 3 Smarty Jones for 3-year-olds, and there was no pace in that race. He passed a couple of tired horses, and I think all things considering, he ran pretty well behind Axelrod, who showed his quality when finishing 2nd in last week's Pennsylvania Derby with a 104 Beyer speed figure. Transistor is a horse that has shown some speed in the past. Not Mr. Buff's speed, but at least he can be close.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a scenario where he's not coming from as far back as he was in that Smarty Jones, and you brought it up. Pace compromised that day. There was just no speed signed on, and we know what Axelrod's capable of. He popped that 104 in the PA Derb. The concern I have with Transistor, he's another one where you just look at his overall body of work. He's 2 of 16 lifetime and 8 times second or third. Is he more of a nibbler at this point in his career? The one thing that I will say that you've got to take note of anyway, you look at the career box in the upper right-hand corner, he's only gone this distance 3 times. Those are his 2 victories.
No surprise that the Adena Springs homebred, the 5-point to remember, has improved since stretching out in distance. He is a son of the distance-loving, albeit turf-loving, point of entry. Now, both of those good races came at Saratoga around 2 turns, but he has an ideal draw in this short field and a little bit of tactical speed as he steps up to face winners for the first time.
Yeah, I think that outside draw is going to be beneficial. I'd imagine he'll be relatively close, maybe not up there pushing it, but I think there's a scenario where he sits sort of that catbird trip. And if you really believe that the inside runner has some distance limitations, or if you believe that he's not going to be ready to go against this level of company, the open N1Xs, perhaps Point to Remember is the one that just falls into the perfect trip.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Thursday's DRFBets race of the day. Pace makes the race. You like Mr. Buff. It's up to Manny Franco. Just hustle out of there, make the lead, and keep on going.
Yeah, I just kind of, again, I hate to just chalk out and look at the horse and say it's Captain Obvious. There's nothing interesting about this horse other than I just think from a tactical standpoint, he has the edge in a race like this. I didn't love the field that he beat most recently, but it's been okay as far as the form is concerned. And again, I just think you go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Break, get him out on the front and say, come and catch me.
Plainsman's prior connections thought a lot of him. He ran into some good spots after winning his maiden, some tough horses, Title Ready, Tenfold, etc. down at Oaklawn. Heck, they ran him in the Arkansas Derby while still eligible for a non-winners at 2 Life. He improved first time out for Cox. He was very wide in the stretch. I'm going to give him one more chance here for Joel Rosario. I'll go with the number 2, Plainsman, over the number 1, Mr. Buff, Matt's top pick in Belmont's 3rd race on Thursday, the DRFBets race of the day. Bet it with DRFBets. Sign up, get a 300% deposit match at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for race number 3 at Belmont on Thursday, 2:37 Eastern. Good luck.